Lots of new faces in new places in the NFL with all the player movement this offseason. So I want to talk with you guys about who we expect to excel with their new team. I'm going to start with D'Angelo Hall here. D. Hall, plenty to choose from. Give me the player that's really going to shine in a new uniform.
And let me throw this disclaimer out, because by shine, I don't necessarily mean this guy's going to go out and just dominate every single body he goes against. But I think his football team will, and he will be a big part of that reason. So I'm going with Julio Jones, the new member of the Tennessee Titans. And, you know, when I think about the way Tennessee plays football, they want to be smash mouth. They want to try to get those numbers and pound Derrick Henry at you, then take those shots downfield with A.J. Brown. Man, when you put A.J. Brown's big brother on the other side of him, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown has been very vocal about loving the way Julio Jones plays the game, trying to model his game after it. You put that guy on the outside, oh my goodness. I mean, I just don't know how opposing defensive coordinators are going to go into game planning for two number one receivers on the outside and a dog in the backfield that wants the ball 30 times a game. A lot of teams want to take that ball out of the quarterback hands by allowing that running back to run. Don't let those big plays go down the football field. It's going to be interesting to see what opposing defenses pick their poison with. Will it be continuously trying to bang your head and tackle Derrick Henry, or deal with those two giants on the outside and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones? I think the Tennessee Titans got a whole lot better, and teams are going to be trying to scheme them to the cows come home.
I mean, John Robinson has been doing the Lord's work this offseason for that team. They're one of my favorite teams to cover. They've got a great roster. If you want to talk about one of the more impactful players that they acquired in recent years, is Ryan Tannehill. And Ryan Tannehill, I feel like, is a guy that's been overlooked because it's one of those mid-sized markets. But they've been doing big things there. I just wonder if they should have done bigger things on defense. Now, you could argue they went out and got Bud Dupree, and that was a big move for them. But this is an offense that I think would have been just fine with King Henry. It's an offense fit for a king, and I think they were doing just fine with A.J. Brown. We'll see if they have too many mouths to feed as a result of Julio Jones getting added to this team. Now, D'Angelo, I want to jump off what you said earlier. Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I think that was a big addition by both Les Snead and, of course, Sean McVay, going out and getting a guy that can not only read but manipulate coverages. I think that's big. And if you kind of listen to McVay read between the lines, that's what he was looking for with this offense. And then they're bringing back their wide receiver duo, their tackling duo, their starting tight end. All of them have been to the Super Bowl with McVay, and they've been to 6 playoff games. Now you've got a seasoned vet in here who seems to speak the same language as your little savant and offensive guru there, Sean McVay. I think that this is going to be huge for them. So that might ask you, again, why I didn't pick them to be the team to beat the NFC. We'll see. Maybe I am now reevaluating it as I make that call, because, of course, I picked the Cowboys. But I do think that they're going to be a team to watch because, as Cynthia pointed out, they've got the defense. They're returning all these players on offense, and now you plug and play with Matthew Stafford. Let's see how creative and fun this team can be.
No, listen, at least from a fantasy standpoint, see, what's great about this chat is it started with D'Angelo saying, no, I'm going to throw the disclaimer. We're not talking fantasy points and yards here. We're talking about what coaches like to call hidden yards with Julio Jones' impact with the Tennessee Titans. D'Angelo says, no fantasy, this is reality. Jane, I think Matthew Stafford's production with the Detroit Lions speaks for itself, and I think it's going to continue, if not ascend, with the Los Angeles Rams. I think you are 100% on the mark with that one. Cynthia, you are up now.
Okay, well, as a Detroit fan, I maybe not a Detroit fan anymore because of the Stafford departure. I love that. But someone who left the Rams, John Johnson, he's a huge add for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm not just trying to kiss up to D. Hall here, picking a defensive back, but ultimately, when I look to see what was missing from this team that got a ton better this season, this past season, and this offseason, it was the defense. It was really stopping those deep threats. And John Johnson was a key in this Rams defense that, because Jalen Ramsey's such a big name and, of course, Aaron Donald up front, John Johnson has a big impact. He's going to be missed. And the Cleveland Browns, they got a good one. So this is going to be a situation where they could take them up over the edge, maybe winning deeper into January, maybe winning that division. It's really up for grabs between them and the Ravens, and great offseason moves like John Johnson are the reason why they could have just kind of leapfrogged the Ravens.
One of the things the Browns wanted to do with their secondary was get versatility, get guys that can do a little bit of everything, and John Johnson can do a little bit of everything. That was a big deal at $33 million plus over 3 years. Might actually wind up being a bargain because the safety number is going to continue to climb, and they got great value. So I'm on board with Cynthia's pick as well. As for me, I'm looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick in the NFCs. Now, I know that Ron Rivera is not declaring a starting quarterback yet. Because
Sure.
Guess what? I'm winking. I know what's going on. It's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick because last year they wanted to have an open quarterback competition, and they didn't get a chance to have an open quarterback competition. So they're trying to make up for lost time in that department, but it's going to wind up being Ryan Fitzpatrick. And really, Taylor Heineke, when he showed up last year, it was after Alex Smith had come on, and really the ball started to come out and go where it needed to go. With Dwayne Haskins, it didn't always come out that way. They would design plays and it would be open and he would just inexplicably look elsewhere after they talked all week long about where they wanted the football to go. Well, Alex Smith started to put it in the right place, and so did Taylor Heineke. You know that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to do that as well for this Washington football team offense. I think that's going to be a big key. We're finally going to see what Scott Turner and that offensive coaching staff wants to do from a scheme standpoint and wants to do consistently with the same quarterback under center, D'Angelo.
Yeah, Jeezy, that's what's going to be interesting because Ryan Fitzpatrick, you watch his body of work over the course of his career, and he'll give you just enough that has you, have you sitting there thinking that you can win a Super Bowl, and then he shows you who he really is, and that's not the guy that you want out there every single snap. So if he can rein some of that in, as you mentioned, if Scott Turner can kind of push the ball down the football field when they need to, they have a lot of weapons on this offense. And so we know what this defense can do. I was at a mini camp practice a couple days ago, and that defense of the Washington football team was biting. They literally picked off, I think, Ryan Fitzpatrick a couple times, and I was scratching my head like, that's not the guy we want to see. So, geez, I'm going to be very, very locked in tune to what your guy has going on in Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know that's my team, so I can't wait. I hope he does have all the success you claim, because if he does, we might be headed to the Super Bowl, baby.